Hello, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to your 10th session of Book Clubs Across Borders between Larkana and Laghman. The book that we are discussing today is The Bookseller of Kabul. This book is is an account of a family living in Afghanistan and their day-to-day lives, the struggles that they go through while living in a Taliban regime. And the book's main character is Sultan Khan, who is the patriarch of the family. He is a bookseller and he's trying to preserve Afghan heritage and Afghan culture by keeping the books safe in his store. He also goes through a lot of trials and tribulations to keep his bookstore safe. The bookstore also gets burned down while we are reading the story, but he still keeps on trying to save Afghanistan's culture and heritage by preserving these books. I would like to ask my colleague, Ayman Imran, to give a brief summary of this book. So Ayman, over to you.
Okay, I'll give a very brief summary of The Bookseller of Kabul because the internet over here is not functioning very well. So the book is basically revolving around the story of Sultan Khan, which is the main character. It's written from the perspective of a foreigner, and through Sultan Khan and his close-knit family and their life in Afghanistan, with a specific focus on the women in his life and around him, right, and his professional pursuits. From that perspective, we are going to get a general idea from the book about life in Afghanistan, right? And what Afghani identity is all about and how war has affected the region, and not just that, but what are the daily social norms of the country, right? So it is a sort of an attempt by a foreigner to assess the region, right? So Sultan Khan is a bookseller, of course, right? And he does considerable hard work in order to achieve that particularly. He even purchases books from across the border. He opens a store. He is faced with many hurdles throughout his professional career. Even his bookstore, I think, at some points gets harmed, but he keeps going through these difficult times in order to pursue his passion and mission, I would say, which is basically to protect Afghani culture and preserve actually Afghani culture, history, and social ideals through books, right? As we know that books are often easy and the first targets when it comes to erasing cultures and identities and histories of some regions, especially war-torn regions, right? So therefore, Khan is very adamant about this particularly. This is something he does not give up on. His mission to preserve the culture and identity of his birthplace and his home region, right? And to preserve its history through his work, which is the preservation and also, I would say, the distribution of books, right? However, at the same time, Khan lives right within the social fabric, which is ingrained with patriarchal norms and values, and that is the way he lives as well, right? And not just that, but he practices that. He practices that particularly, very actively. We can see in the book that all alongside his mission that could very well point towards having the freedom to know your own identity and to preserve your culture and history, right? Alongside all of that, he is authoritative at home. And in society in general, right? The women around him have very less choice in making their decisions or using their agency for their lives. He demands to be obeyed and respected, and they have to meander sort of and traverse around these patriarchal norms and struggle to do whatever they want to do, right? His wife's place has been usurped in the book and she's dealing with that, right? His sisters have to also kind of suffer this very subtle, sometimes very stark, patriarchal sort of, fabric that is very deeply ingrained, not just in the house, but in the society as well. And of course, the house is shown as a microcosm of Afghani society, right? And his sister is seeking a job, but she has to do it secretly. So there are two parallel stories of Sultan Khan living within Afghanistan, within the religious, the communal customs, and very actively practicing patriarchal norms whilst having an honorable mission of preservation and freedom and knowing your identity, right? And that shows the complexity not just of the character but of the society as well.
Thank you so much, everyone, for connecting with us today. It was lovely hearing from all of you. Keep on reading, keep on sharing books, keep on exchanging books with your friends, and we'll see you next time, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.